Punch, y'all. This is Spike Punch.
Hope the killers understand.
OOOG edition.
Spike Punch.
So, Dollar Bill, first time you picked the horn up,
1963.
and was that your calling?
I wanted to play drums.
Really?
Yeah, my mom said, no way. I pick a horn. I say trumpet. Why not?
And when you say trumpet, you still have the trumpet from 1975? 76?
75, 76. That's right.
Is that the horn you used to play on the album?
Yeah, on everything.
Wow.
That's the only horn I play. That's Freedom. All of that stuff. That horn right there is a classic sound.
That's crazy. All right, so Dollar Bill, the legend, started when you started working with the artists, the legendary artists. Like one I can name in particular is Evelyn Champagne King.
But it started before that with Brick. Well, I wasn't with Brick. I was with the group that became Brick. Like after I finished high school, I started gigging. I finished high school in '69, and I did my first professional gig in '69. I got paid $18.
Wow.
And I was good. I was saying like, man, because all through high school you play music because you're just having fun, and and all that stuff. And then somebody paid me to do this. I said, oh yeah. So after I started playing with these groups, different groups, I went to college in the fall of '69.
Mm-hmm.
And all of the guys that most of the guys that were in Brick, all of us went to Morris Brown College together. And so, I was a pretty hotshot trumpet player. I was young. I was real young. I was 17. I was a pretty hotshot cat because I had come from this high school where it was like the best high school in Atlanta. At the time, Booker T. Washington High School was like the best. And a lot of famous people had gone to school. Martin Luther King went to my high school.
Oh, wow.
And the jazz singer Gene Carn, Dr. Louis Sullivan. My high school was like the high school. Like everybody talks about the old Armstrong here and the old Maggie Walker. Well, my high school was like the oldest black high school in Atlanta. And so their band was like the baddest band in town. At the time we were it. So I went to Morris Brown, and all the guys who, they were a little older than I, but they asked me to join the band. And the group was called Heliphernalia at the time. It was like a psychedelic era, man. That was Woodstock. Woodstock was the year I graduated from high school. So to give you a perspective of how far back, that was Jimi Hendrix, Sly Stone. That was the year. That was the year that music like blossomed in America. That was the end of the Ed Sullivan Show, and it was the beginning of when music like took off. Mm-hmm. And so Woodstock was the year I graduated from high school, and so we had this crazy name, Heliphernalia, and they asked me to join the group, but I was young, man, and so I couldn't handle a lot of the stuff. But I went to school for 2 or 3 years, played in the band. We did a lot of gigs, man. We opened for Roberta Flack the first time she came to Atlanta.
Killing Me Softly.
The first time she came to Atlanta, we opened for Roberta Flack.
Mm-hmm.
We did gigs with like the 3 Degrees, or what was it, Honey?
The 3 Degrees from the Sanford and Son, that was on Sanford and Son?
Whatever, I don't know what it was.
I didn't know, ooh, you were gonna be my baby. Be my baby. I didn't know, ooh, loving you.
Atlanta got the best of me. Atlanta was kind of fast, and because right after, see, this is Vietnam. Mm-hmm. A lot of people my era was the Vietnam era, the Civil Rights era. Mm-hmm. I went to the high school Martin Luther King went to, and I graduated high school the year after he was killed. So we were going to burn Atlanta down, Jack. I mean, Atlanta, and guess what? They had every police, everybody in the world. I mean, Atlanta did not have the riots because we had a lot of people talking to us. Like my band director told us, said, man, don't go out here burning your own neighborhood up, man. That don't make no sense. He said, that's your neighborhood. Those are your people. They had a lot of wisdom. He said, man, don't go out here tearing up your neighborhood. So we were like riding around downtown trying to see what we could get into. They had police and dogs everywhere. We went home. So I got caught up in all the drama. and all the fast stuff. And I decided for me to survive, I needed to get out of Atlanta because the group fired me. They just came and said, "Hey man, we can't use you no more."
Oh wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, well, I was 17, man, and hanging with these cats who were 19 and 20. You know, I just wasn't. I don't think as I look back on it, maturity wise, I could not handle it. So I asked my grandparents, could I come back to Virginia? And I came back to Virginia to go to Virginia State, and the group kind of like fell apart, and they came back together as Brick. And they called me like, hey man, you gonna come back? We got a new group. We gonna do this. They wanted me back. I thought that was cool. And I had grown up because I was 21 now, so I had grown up a little bit. But I had already started my group here in Petersburg at Virginia State called Trussell.
Trussell.
Yes. Yeah. And so and then we started our own record label back in '75.
What was the name of the record label?
Bridge the Gap. We didn't have a name for the group. And so we were riding around. We started jamming together at the snack shop at Virginia State. So we were called the Snack Shop Band at first. And so we rode around one night looking for a name for the group. And we couldn't come up with anything. And our drummer had a lisp. And over Virginia State, right there when you go to Virginia State from Petersburg, there used to be this great big old bridge. They've taken the bridge down now. The pylons are still there. But he said, man, just name the group Trussell. Right? And so we named the group Trussell because it represented that big old bridge that went across.
Okay.
So our production company was called Iron Bridge Productions, and ironically, I lived near Iron Bridge.
Exactly.
And then our record company was called Bridge the Gap Records, and the group was Trussell. So we had all that in place. And
how many albums did Trussell?
We put 45s. Really? I don't know albums, man. You put 45s out back in the day, and they were like 79 cents or 99 cents or something. So you remember? Well, maybe you remember.
I do remember 45.
Yeah. So we cut a 45
yeah.
in 1975, and it was a big hit, kind of here in the Richmond area. Kirby Carmichael used to play it. And I will tell you something real quick, and I have to give Kirby credit for this. I have to, Kirby. When I went to Kirby to get my record played, he said, "Bill." He said, I'll tell you this, and I'm going to be honest with you, because we were playing in all the clubs and everything, so everybody knew who we were. He said, Bill, I don't have, and this is a good lesson, Rock, for people in general. That's why I remember this, man, 40 years later. Kirby said to me, I don't mind playing your record as long as your record's good. He says, now, you got to understand something. I'm going to put Earth, Wind, and Fire on after you. And I'm going to put the Commodores on before you. He said, now, if your record can't hang with them, people going to change the channel, go over to WNZ or something. I can't have people leaving my station. He said, so as long as your record, as long as I can put the Commodores on before you and the Earth, Wind, and Fire on after you, as long as your record's hanging in there, you good. And that was such a positive lesson because he ended up playing our record a lot.
That's a good look, though, to be in between the Commodores and Earth, Wind, and Fire.
It's a good look.
Great.
Yeah.
Like,
so
if I'm listening to the radio, I'm going to keep listening. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And if you cool, you going to, and so what it taught me was that even through our days when we worked together, it's just the quality of your music has to be of the same level as the people you working with. Ain't no such thing as demos in the real world, all that. Your stuff got to be banging like the stuff they're going to play before you and the stuff they're going to play after you. That's the real world. So you tell all them young folk, you compare your stuff to whoever's banging.
Heaven's the rules apply, so why should I be ashamed?
Evelyn Champagne King. How did that come about?
Well, what happened was after Trussell, we put out a couple of records. In between records, and a lot of us graduated from school by that time. Because from 75, all of us were like either graduating or getting ready to graduate. So, we were kind of in a little low period in the thing. And a friend of mine had moved to Philadelphia, a guy named Marvin Daniels. And Marvin's trumpet player, and he and I played together on a lot of stuff at Virginia State. We were in a jazz band together. We were very close, man. Two trumpet players, like you and Sean. We were very close. So Marvin met some people up there, and they had a little girl who needed a backup band. her record had just been released on RCA. He was down with all of her managers.
Now, how old was she?
She was 15, 16 at the time, 15, 16. So he called us up and he said, hey, yeah, man, I know y'all, I know how your group works and everything. He asked me, he said, but look, you think y'all might be interested in backing up this girl who got a record out? I said, man, we ain't backing up no snotty-nosed girl. Don't you know who we are, man? We thought we were like going to be the next Commodore's Earth, Wind & Fire. We were like we sang all our own music. We were like, man, we ain't backing nobody up. I said, but I tell you what, I asked the band and let them know, because I knew we were at that little point, where either your band, we got to do something or we're going to end up falling apart. So I asked the guys, I said, hey, man, look, Marvin has this girl up in Philly who has a record out on RCA, and he wants to know, do we want to back the girl up? So we took a vote on it, and it was 8 of us, or 7 of us, whatever it was. And everybody but 2 of us said do it. I said no, and my man, Chicken, the guitar player, we both said, no, we're not backing up no little snotty-nosed girl. And so the majority ruled, So they came down for a rehearsal, and Marvin was going to be her music director. So he was going to be the liaison between us and her people, which is cool, because he and I played together for years, like I said. So they came down to rehearse. Well, at the time, we were doing this Chaka Khan tune, Once You Get Started.
Once you get started, oh, it's hard to stop, yeah. Just can't stop it. When you get down, y'all, when you get down, there's no time that's long.
And see, the lead singer with our group was a phenomenal cat, man. His name was Larry Tynes. He's passed away. Larry Tynes was one of the most talented singers I've ever worked with. He sounded like Donny Hathaway and could sing all of Donny Hathaway stuff, for all we know, anything. But he had the range of Philip Bailey.
Philip Bailey.
He could sing as high as Philip Bailey.
Wow.
With a beautiful voice like Donny Hathaway. And so he could sing anything a woman sang, because he had that range. So we used to do Chaka Khan's Once You Get Started, right? And we'd be like killing it. And people be going like, but there's no girl right there, because the girl who used to be with the group, she was gone. So Evelyn came in. We said, we're gonna check out to see if she can sing, right? So we're going to say, hey, little girl, you know how to sing Once You Get Started by Chaka Khan? Because we was killing it, right? She said, yeah, I know that song. And so we said, okay, 1, 2, 3. And we hit that, man. Homegirl came in, and we almost dropped our instruments.
And he's 15 years old.
15, 16 years old, man. We almost dropped our instruments. Because that child, man, was so talented, man. She jumped on that song with both feet and beat it up. And we just looked at each other like, like, for real.